Hey guys, this is the second video of Contact 5 of building your own instrument. Quick recap from last session, just went through, kind of introduced you to the interface, how it all kind of, where all the buttons are. So this first session of building your instrument, this first video, is literally going to start showing you how to do something. As you can see here, I've already got a new default instrument set up. I did that by just coming up to the file option here and clicking on new instrument. Yeah, firstly you want to check that you have an output set up, which is right here. And secondly, you want to make sure that your MIDI keyboard, if you're using one, is going to be working. You can tell that it's working by looking at this little MIDI symbol here. When you hit the key, it starts flashing. If that doesn't happen, best thing to do is to come up to here and go into your preferences. This will just kind of show you, you can add instrument or add keyboards and change your audio interface and all this. So you just come down to MIDI, find your keyboard and select port A. It should then all be working. So we've all got a working keyboard, we've got a blank instrument panel. Let's begin bringing samples in. So you come up here to your little spanner and you're into your instrument. Now firstly, for some reason when you open up a new instrument, it will give you right down the bottom here an envelope. I can't fully understand why, if you're building your own instrument, it would give you an envelope to start off with. So for now, click and highlight it, make sure it's yellow, and delete it. We're not going to be needing it, and if you want to start playing around with envelopes later on with the effects, then you can just add it in. So now that we're in here, I'm going to introduce you to the mapping editor, which is this button here. If we click on that, it will bring up this window here, this snazzy little window. This is where you can drag and drop your samples and start messing around with them. This is the main interface. So let's do that. I'm gonna start off trying to find a sample. Ideally, ideally you'd have your own samples recorded for this. I'm just using some factory presets for now. So if we scroll down and try and find a nice one that we can use. There we go, let's try that. There we go, that sounds cool. So we'll bring that over. You can see that it's on C2, so we can drag it over and drop it on the key there. Now just for time's sake, I'm going to stretch this over an entire octave. Ideally, when sampling sounds, if you stretch it over an octave, a sampler will change the pitch by speeding the sample up. Doesn't always work well with real instrument sounds, as you speed an instrument sound up, it will start to sound less like the instrument you want it to. And if you're going for a realistic sample, you want it to stay realistic all the way through. You don't want it to not sound like what you're trying to achieve. That doesn't make any sense at all. So we have a sample. As you can hear, it's kind of starting to get, it's not sounding like the original instrument when you've gone up the octave. So ideally you'd want to place a new sample in, I don't know, every 2-3 tones, something like that. But for argument's sake, this will do for now. So that is the basics of the key map window. You find your sample, you bring it into the key where it was recorded, or the tone that was recorded, drop it onto that key, and you're happy as Larry, good to go. So yeah, I shall leave it there for now. The next video will go on to velocity switching using different samples, but that's for another time. So thanks very much for watching, catch you later.